Okay, just for kind of a next step, when we're off camera, we went ahead and made these legs, made a pair of these, and really all they consist of is some rectangular tubing, some threaded hex slugs, and an open threaded slug on top. And what that is for is it creates a base for the deck of the jig to actually sit on, and by using some bolts in these threaded slugs, you can adjust the height and the angle of the deck in order to get it level in every direction. And you can see right here is just kind of a basic mock-up of what they look like installed. We use a top clamp to clamp the deck and these legs together, and once that's done, we can use the bolts to adjust the height. Alright, while we're off camera, we did a couple more steps to the jig here. As you can see right here, we cut the two different lengths of what I call U-holders. These are the two parts that hold the upper and lower U's that make up the, you could say, rear fork that holds the rear wheel and axle. And we're doing a little different than we've done it before. As you can see, I've just cut two straight pieces, a short one and a long one, and then I've made these little billet clamps that we're going to end up welding to the top and still maintain the right height. And but it's going to give us a lot of surface area here to clamp. And then, like you can see on this one, I went ahead and made a little top clamp for it. And that should turn out really nice. And what these will do will sit in between the two deck legs, just like most of the rest of these beams, and locate where the rear U's are going to go. Another part that we did off camera was what we call the saddles, and what these do is go not necessarily right in this position, but like this on the deck of the jig. And here we've got a little bottom piece that's threaded that will go underneath right here, and as you can see, there's a countersunk hole that I will put a fastener through, and it will sink into that to clamp it to the deck itself. And then it's got two different centers. The two inside are for a normal Sportster width frame, and the two outside are for a normal big twin width bottom frame rails. And the way that we made both these clamps and the saddles is really pretty simple, and it allows you to make two at the same time. These particular clamps, for instance, I ended up cutting the billet, which is just basically a 2-inch square bar stock, and faced it to where they both match, and put them in the mill, or a drill press, whatever you got, and basically had them clamped together like this, and make sure they're lined up right. And then I locate the center between the two pieces and drill a hole, step drill it through the center to where you get a half radius on each one. Then once that was done, I just took them apart from each other and drilled and tapped a couple holes for my my top cap. And doing it that way makes it really really nice, because obviously you can do two at the same time, and you get a nice even radius. And the next step we're going to do is probably start working a little bit on the king post, the part that actually holds our pro plate or our motor fixture. Got that post cut, it's ready to go. I've got the holes drilled down here where it's going to go right there in the jig, and then we're going to end up just using this angle iron, drill and tap a couple holes in it that will coincide with the holes on our pro plate, and that'll be another part done.
Okay, as you can see, we got the basic frame assembled. We've got the tail piece. Right now it's just sitting in there as a spacer. It's not got flanges or clamps on it, but it's where it's going to be, and it's a spacer. We've got the king post and the head post. So the most basic, most important pieces are in place. What we're going to do now is check that everything is square, level, perpendicular to the earth. That's really important for two reasons. One is for the rest of the jig is fabrication and assembly. If the foundation is perfectly level in all directions and perfectly square in all directions, then everything else we put on it, all we got to do is level it, and we know it's all going to be true. The other thing is when you build frames on this jig, knowing that everything you're basing it off of is level, then all you've got to do is level and square all the pieces of the frame as you go along. And that makes frame building a million times more simple when all you got to do is throw a level on something and see if it's perpendicular, if it's supposed to be perpendicular, or level if it's supposed to be level. Okay? So Big T is going to come over here. We're going to show you our zeros. We've got a digital protractor, which I highly recommend if you're going to be a serious fabricator or frame builder of any kind. We're showing perfect verticalness on the tail piece. We're showing zero perfect verticalness on the king post. I had a little bit of dirt on the magnet before. And we're showing zero on the head post where the jig steering rack fixture is going to go. Okay? It's perfectly level in this direction from head to toe. And it's perfectly level. Big T, if you want to swing around to the...
I can see her.
Oh, you can? Okay. It's perfectly level across the deck. So now we've got something that's now we've got something that's going to be really easy to work with as far as final fabrication and construction of the jig. We also have something that our customer is going to really have an easy time of building stuff on, because as long as he sets it up with everything zeroed out like we just did, and you've got your, he can drill holes in his table if he wants to do it that way and bolt it in that position, put some jam nuts on these threaded pieces. Permanently get it set to where it's zeroed in all directions like this. It's going to make frame building a million times easier. What we've done is we went ahead and clamped, we clamped it down to the table so that for the whole rest of the jig construction we don't have to worry about it getting bumped or moved, and therefore coming up on an imperfection on the table or whatever, getting dirt under its legs, whatever, and making it not level anymore without us realizing it's not level anymore.